I hope that whoever is watching this, if you are passionate about storytelling and filmmaking, you give it a chance. It's going to be a very rough journey, but I think once you find your people and find exactly why you're passionate and tell the stories that you need to tell and want to tell, that'll help you keep pushing towards achieving your goals. Please don't give up. We need to see your stories. We need to hear your stories.
Yeah, with editing, I think it's such an emotional piece that can be added into a film, and the way that you edit a film can greatly impact whether it's going to be a sad or a happy or a deep, meaningful film. And so I wanted to just kind of continue opening that space up for other Latina editors that hopefully can continue the path that I go on to and have more connections built.
I think that if we focus on teams, on having filmmakers join up with not only their DP or their directing teams, but also producing teams, I say that that opens up a whole new level of the amount of stories that could be supported. I think that the reason I love producing so much is because I get to see a story or a story in its script form. And I get to really see that vision with the writer or the director or the writer-director and kind of go through the whole process of script through pre-production, through production, to the premiere, and then to its home, which is distribution. Having that whole process come from just an idea or somebody pitching it to me or somebody just sharing where it's coming from is the most beautiful thing to see manifest into reality. I also really, really enjoy working with crew. I think seeing so many talented individuals pour their energy into making a beautiful story is like one of the biggest privileges of my life. And overall, I do think that I want to produce for the rest of my life. I think that in my eyes, not only do I want to grow as a producer, but I would love to support other producers in their growth as well. So I look forward to the day that I can look left to right and see so many women of color producers around me. And I know that they're out there, but I also know that there's a new generation coming, and I want to be part of that growth and that support for them as well.
My background being both Salvadorian and Mexican caused a lot of ripples in, I would say, my family's dynamic and what they see as successful. The advice that I would give, or that lives within me, for me to continue to go on, is just the knowledge that my parents gave their all for me to have this. And I sit with that thought that I am the daughter of immigrants, and I wonder what life would have been like for me if I would have, my mom would have stayed in El Salvador and I would have been born in El Salvador, my dad, and likewise in Mexico. And truthfully, like, a career in film, it's not even fathomable at that point. Like, in El Pueblo, like, you're a teacher, you're a nurse, you're like a doctor, si te va bien, and that's it. And as difficult as it is here and as hard as it may feel like to a day-to-day, I have to carry that knowledge with me and know that there's sacrifices to not be able to go back home, see their family, or like have family members pass away while they're here and not be able to go see them and say goodbye was all worth it. And not to say that they understand what I'm doing or where I'm at most of the time, right? But at least I know within myself that their sacrifice was worth it and that I'm here and that I'm taking even baby steps to go forward.
We still experience a lot of binary in our lives, in our society, in our family, in our culture, specifically growing up Mexican American. We experience a lot of traditional roles that have to be redefined. And I like to consider myself both with experimental and in the makeup world, that we're redefining that story for ourselves. Being a woman of color in a industry that's still predominantly led by white men, I think it's important, right, to walk along the side one another, to really embody excellence. I really believe that we are top tier, you know, and I want to be that as an example, and to really build from the examples that were left behind us, because there has been many women who have paved the way for us to do this, you know. So I think that's a big marker in my career, to create a path, but also embrace the path with gratitude of all of the sacrifices of women that didn't have the ability to be an artist because they chose tradition, or tradition was implemented in them, right? Especially, like, I think about like our older generations, like our abuelas, our tias, our moms, that they still don't get what we're doing, and that's okay. That's okay if they don't understand it, you know? Like, it's okay, because we got you, I understand you, and you're not alone. You're really not in the creative life. If there's anything that I could leave behind as a reminder, it would be two things. It would be to lead with your intuition. Your intuition is one of the strongest flashlights that we have in our life, to be able to lead with that. Something's telling me to go this way. Something's telling me that I should apply to this. Something's telling me, something's moving me, because something is moving you. It's something greater that's leading you to the purpose. And to never forget your purpose in the creative journey, and that it's not about you, that it's about the work, and it's about the impact ultimately. And that's the gold, that you're just part of this lifetime, this century. We just happen to be born in this timeline on Earth, and to do it with purpose is what I would leave.
It's so important to support authentic storytelling, because no one is you, and no one has gone through what you've gone through, and no one is going to tell your story like you, you know? A lot of mainstream Latinx stories that might have a lot of maybe non-Latin people behind it producing it or giving their say in it. It's very cliches and very stereotypes, and that's not everyone's experience. So we have to support authenticity, because my experience as a Salvi American growing up in Utah is different from a Salvi American growing up in LA, from someone in Oklahoma, from a Dominican, you know, from Mexicans, you know, they're all different. We're not all the same. And to be in these spaces, it's important. But for me personally, I really do not care about having a seat at your table, because we can have our own table. We don't have to try to fit into anyone's table. You know, let's just bust down those doors and here's our chairs, here's our tables, this is what we're doing, you know. So yeah, I just think, don't wait for anyone to give you an opportunity. Just take it and create your own opportunities, because this industry is really hard, and there's a lot of games and a lot of politics and a lot of things like that. So do it your way.